So here we have Lab 1-4 from Practical Malware Analysis. Again, we are given a .exe and told to do static analysis on it. So again, I'm defaulting with PEView and opening up the portal executable with this tool. I'm skipping the virus total question. Number 2, are there any indications that this file is packed? We see the .text, .rdata, and the data, so we can see those sections, as well as in the import table we see tons of imports, which again, malware that is packed tends to have very few imports that are observable with this tool. And then also looking at the sizes of the virtual size and the size of the raw data, we see that the size of the raw data and is existent in all of these. So don't think it's packed. Number 3, when was this program compiled? So we go here to image file header under image nt headers. This executable has a compilation date of 2019. It's 2016 and the book's from 2011, so we can assume that that's fake. Number 4, do any imports have this program's functionality? So again, we're going to look at our import table. We see, so this ADVAP 32DLL has to deal with permissions inside Windows. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not a Windows person. But in addition to that, from kernel 32.dll, we see tons of functions for file manipulation and looks like looking at processes. So it does. We know that. Number 5, what host or network-based indicators? So in the .data section or the RData section, I think. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. Maybe it's just in the resource section. Yeah, in the resource section we have. So this is the first executable that has a resource section with the labs. But if you scroll down, here we go. Within the resource section, you can see these strings. Number 1, we see our famous domain or malware domain. This time it's also the domain has a file. We see updater.exe from that domain. And we also see, it looks like this path or to an executable or maybe creating a file, system32 wup dmgrd.exe. So that would be like a host-based indicator, and this would be the network-based indicator. Number 6, the file has one resource, and the resource, right. So we have a resource here, a resource section, so finally we can use Resource Hacker, which is one of the tools the book recommends to use for looking at resource sections. Resource Hacker identifies this as a bin or binary file, and so according to the book, when this happens, you should try to save the binary, which I did, and then reopen just the resource binary from the original .exe. And so we have that here, right here. This is the extracted resource section from the original .exe. And so here again we see this doesn't look to be packed or obfuscated anyways. We do have a different compile date of 2011, possibly the true compile date. Looking at our imports, we have different imports. One, we have WinExec here to execute a target. And in the book, the main one the book points out is down here, is the UR download to file A. Obviously this function does exactly what it says it does and is clearly useful for malware to download files. And I believe that is it. Also we do see the same strings, the domain as well as the path that we saw in the original lab4.exe. So there's lab 1-4.